Hi Dandelions. I'm going to do a video response to LittleLynleyLou's question as to whether or not YouTube has helped us to grow. Because I've been on YouTube now for almost a year. I don't think I've been posting videos for a year. I have been posting videos for longer than it actually appears that I have, but I deleted a few of them that were made on a crappy device and kind of didn't really address subjects in the very linear way that I realised I wanted to address them. So the history, if you browse my videos, is not actually as long as it originally was, but I have been posting videos for quite a long time now, and I've been on YouTube like actively commenting and stuff for a year. So this is a thought that's crossed my mind a few times and that I would like to be able to talk about, because YouTube definitely has helped me to grow and definitely has kind of influenced me in my wider life. The main way in which YouTube has helped me is actually just through the bravery that I had to show in starting the channel. And I know that might sound like kind of a cliche thing to say, but you do have to be brave to start a channel like this, to discuss such a specific part of your life and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Because I, for one, am not overt about my spiritual nature. I mean, my friends do know that I'm spiritual, but it's kind of left at that most of the time. And, you know, my friends, a lot of my closer friends are aware that I'm pagan, but that's about the long and short of what they do know. I don't feel it's necessary to harp on about what I do in practice or what I believe in, and it doesn't tend to come up. If conversations of a more generalised spiritual nature do come up, then of course I talk about them from the experience that I have, from my personal experience, but I don't feel the need to let people in my life know what I do or what I believe in that sense. And also, a lot of people in other areas of my life don't know at all. And I think, you know, it's not so much the worry about being judged as it is the worry that people who maybe have casual anti-spiritual leanings or may just generally think of it as weird or a little bit out there, um, may kind of like think about me in a certain way that I can't be kind of bothered to address. Like, I suppose what I'm trying to say is I'm very secure in my path at this time in my life. I know where I've been, I know where I'm going with it, and I know that it's going to be with me forever. I don't feel that energy needs to be expended in kind of teaching and educating people who have no real interest in the spiritual aspect of our existence. And I think that part of starting the channel was the acceptance that I had to have that people may come across the channel without me telling them about it prior to them discovering it. Because, you know, I've put my name to this channel. If you Google my name, things about this channel and tarot and my Every Which Way interview will come up on the Google search. So it is out there, it is exposed, it's out in the open. So there's a certain aspect of vulnerability that I had to accept and get to grips with. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that. But I think, other than the fact that I've exposed myself to a wider audience and I'm talking about stuff that a lot of people will have misconceptions on or misunderstand, there's also the fact that when I got with my current boyfriend, who I've been with now for just over a year, my decision with him was to be very open about my spirituality, and the channel has been one way of doing that. You know, he has ready access to the channel. There's a little bit of a problem at certain times with the timing of my videos and the lip sync and stuff like that. I don't know why that is, we're trying to work it out, but in the interim between working that out, he actually edits my videos to make sure that the sound is is synchronized with the images, because he's actually a sound engineer by trade. So he actually is the first person that sees these videos before they're actually put onto the channel. So everything that I've spoken about on the channel, everything that I've addressed, is stuff that he's aware of. So that's another way in which YouTube has helped me to be even more open and even more able to share things with my boyfriend that might not come up in conversation. For example, like the Immalt contemplation video and Sound contemplation video. He's aware of the 8-spoke wheel of the year, but this channel kind of helps him to get more of a grip on what it means to me personally without us having to go into lengthy conversations about it, which may not have come up otherwise. So I like that about it. And the other thing about my personal life with regard to this channel is that my best friend has been given the YouTube address for my videos, and that was a really big step, because she had come across the channel while she was browsing on my computer, and she knew that, you know, I talk about these kinds of things online, But she was very respectful. She didn't actually watch any of the videos or anything like that. She asked me if it would be okay for her to have access to these videos and if I was comfortable with doing that. And I remember saying to her, like, it's totally fine that you do that and that you watch these videos, it's not a problem, but it's not something that I've ever felt that I wanted to bring into our friendship or any of my friendships, and it's not something that I felt that I needed to address and explore with my friends. And her response to that was, well, don't you think that as your best friend I need to know? I need to know what you believe. It's a part of you. It's a big part of you. So, you know, it should be a big part of me in turn. And that was a really emotional moment for me, and I feel like it really helped us to take our friendship to the next level. So that was a gift, I think, from YouTube to me, and I kind of like the way that that was facilitated, if you like. That was nice. And also, I've spoken a few times on the channel so far about how it's helped me to own certain words, like pagan I've always been pretty comfortable with, but witch not so much because of the various different ideas of what it is and how I subscribe to some of those ideas, and I am obviously at one with some of those ideas, but with other ideas I'm not, I don't represent that image of what a witch is, or I don't do those certain things that other witches may do, kind of thing. So it's been about me going on a personal journey with regard to that word, and going on a personal journey with regard to how much I'm personally prepared to accept responsibility for who I am and what I believe. So that's been a big deal. Another aspect of YouTube that I've found to have helped me with my personal development and my personal growth is the way that I've found so much education and inspiration from other people on YouTube, and that's something that's been really amazing, and I've absolutely loved every minute of it. I've learned so much from so many kick-ass witches. I have absolutely revelled in the information that I've been given, the inspiration that has been given to me for free, the resources, the different specialities that different witches and pagans have that they can let me in on, that they can really kind of give me their knowledge of. I feel like that is a really important free resource for me. And I also feel like it lifts me psychologically a little bit. When I feel low, when I feel crappy, I can go onto my feed and I can just find so much magic on my feed. So many people that I'm subscribed to are doing so many amazing videos, talking about so many things that I wasn't aware of or that I needed greater clarity on. People talking about just how to center yourself, how to empower yourself, how to discover yourself, how to be authentic, and different issues as well. Just different issues within the pagan community, within the witchcraft community, that have enabled me to become an active part of the debate and less of a passive observer. And I feel like I've been a passive observer for too long, and I'm glad that now I can not only put my voice to the debate, but really give time to listening and understanding other people's points of view. And that's something that I've felt is really important. And that in turn has led me to feel much more comfortable with the idea that I have something to teach, which I think is something that a lot of people have problems with. The idea that even though they may have amassed a lot of knowledge in one way or another, and they may have certain kind of like specialities, like for me, for example, it would be tarot, for other people it's crystals, for other people it's a certain aspect of the path like druidry or whatever. I think a lot of the time we don't feel like we have something to actively teach. We feel that that is maybe not humble enough, or maybe we'll never be good enough to really put forth the wisdom that we have on a certain subject, or maybe it's presumptuous, or maybe people don't want to hear it, or whatever. I think it's really a bold move to come out and say, look, I have something to teach, I have something to show you guys, and you know, it's a gift from me, but it's also a way for me to confirm to myself that I've done a certain amount of study in this, and it's something that I can put forth now in a kind of linear fashion that can help other people, and that is a documentation of the more holistic sort of sense of what I've learned and who I am. And with the trainee tarot course, I really did that, and I think that's something that's been really special to me, actually, because it's made me realise that I have amassed a lot of knowledge that can be useful to some other people, and that's been nice for me. You know, it's upped my confidence quite a lot, and I've really enjoyed doing that. So it's enabled me to see myself as somebody who has something to teach, not in any overwhelming or life-changing way, but just, you know, I know that there are people out there who also have a passion for the subject, and I've liked being able to lend my wisdom to the overall pot of wisdom that YouTube is like an obvious example of, so that's been great. I've also liked coming back into the fold with regard to pagan community. I think that's been great, just talking about key issues, hot topics, things that have happened in the news and things like that. I think that's been great for me because I've been on the sidelines a lot through my whole life with pagan community, and I think that's mainly because I'm very solitary in my spirituality, and I wouldn't want to change that. But YouTube is a great portal for people who, although they're very solitary in their practice, don't choose to be solitary within the lifestyle. They don't want to be cut off from other pagans. They don't want to just like live their spiritual life and to hell with what anybody else thinks. They want to understand where other pagans are coming from. They want to have a dialogue and they want to be involved. And just because practice is solitary doesn't mean that the rest of their pagan life needs to be solitary. So it's been really nice for me to come back into the community, and to an extent I've done it with forums over the years and stuff, but I think with YouTube it's actually a really beautiful interactive platform. So I've really gotten a lot out of it from that perspective, and I feel, as a result of being on YouTube, much more wholly pagan. I feel more pagan now than I have felt in years, and that is a really magical thing. I don't think I've felt this pagan since I was like 12, 13, so it's been really nice coming back into that and hearing what other people have to say and just feeling a little bit less out of it, feeling a little bit more like I'm in the swim, I suppose. So these are the key ways in which YouTube has helped me to grow, and I'm really happy to be a part of it, and I expect to continue to be for a long time yet. So yeah, kick-ass people, it's a kick-ass place, and it's shown me what I can do for myself and how strong I can be, and that I don't lack the courage of my conviction, because I think that's something that I have always known about myself. In a lot of ways, the warrior archetype is strong with me, and I do have quite a strong central core. But when it comes to things like the specifics of your spiritual path, you have to have some balls to put that out there sometimes, I think. And I have grown those balls from somewhere, and I have them on display proudly, and I like that. I like that about myself. I think it's helped me to be more whole and to be more readily available to myself as well as to other people. So that's nice, and I like that. Just before I go, Tea and Tarot is returning, and I'm quite excited about it. I decided not to do any Tea and Tarot while I was doing the trainee tarot course because I didn't want to get things muddled up, and I wanted to keep things quite linear and quite straightforward. But I have loads and loads of ideas for Tea and Tarot, and I'm really excited to get started with it again. Not only because I love tarot, in case anyone hadn't noticed already, but also because I bloody love tea, and I've bought so much new tea lately that it's impossible to know where to start with. The tea cupboard is now maxed out, basically, there's no more room. So I'm excited to just have another excuse to drink tea, which is great because any excuse is a worthy excuse from my perspective. So that's great. And if anybody has anything specific that they would like me to focus on for Tea and Tarot, like any emotional issues, particular situations, anything that they have difficulties with in life or anything like that, let me know and I will try to accommodate you. And also I'm writing on a little bit individual, which is kind of like a really cool directory for unique gifts and handmade gifts and gifts from kind of like bespoke little companies. And I'm doing their tarot section because the guy that heads up a little bit individual is a tarot fan himself, and he wanted to have a tarot section, so we're kind of working together to make that happen. So I've left the link in the main sidebar on my channel if you want to go and have a look at what I'm writing on tarot over there. It's very much kind of like approaching different cards and talking about how they pertain to different aspects of life, and there's advice in there and stuff, so you might find that enjoyable. And I'm also being published, I'm having my first publication on Adventures in Manifesting, which I love. The publishing company that they head up is fantastic, and there's loads of books on self-development and emotional growth and things, and Adventures in Manifesting is kind of like their online blog, so it's almost like a condensed version of what they do with the publishing company. And I'm going to have an article published on there very shortly, which is about savouring the flavour of life, and about how positive psychology can teach us to savour life. So that's going to be cool, and hopefully you guys can look at that when it's up. I'll make sure that I post the link on my Facebook page when it's published, but I'm hoping that this is just going to be one of many things that I write for Adventures in Manifesting, because I really respect it as a website. I love what everybody else writes. I think it's got some great resources on there for emotional development and such, so if that's the kind of thing that you like reading about online, then definitely go and check it out. It's a really good little blog, and there's lots of great resources and lovely advice on there. So that's all for now, and blessed be, and I hope you're all well.